I'm not on Planet Hobo anymore. But I gotta keep my rum. Hello world of YouTube and welcome to my Korn Discography review update. In this video I'm going to be reviewing their latest record that came out last week, The Paradigm Shift. Now if you haven't seen my 3-part, now 4-part Korn Discography review and you want to check out part 1, click the always magical, ever present Door Fedora. It's a magical fedora that takes you to magical places, and in that part I cover all of their records from the 90s, all of their releases from the 90s really, except for maybe a few things. But if you want to check that out, it's linked right there. There's a link to part 2 and 3 linked in the description of that video and in the end thingy of this video as well. And those 2 parts cover all of their records from the 2000s and the Path of Totality, which gets its own separate review. Now this record has been really heavily requested by you guys, more than usual. I'm kind of shocked. I didn't think a lot of you guys wanted to see my opinions on the new Korn record, but you do! Even the day it came out, people were requesting this record, and even in my last discography review update, as of filming this, all of the comments are just people requesting a review for this album. So thank you! I'm humbled and I'm shocked that you really care about my opinion on this record, but you're gonna get it now. The Paradigm Shift is the first record to feature Brian Head Welch back in the band, who left after Take a Look in the Mirror because of conflicts within the band, and he's back now. And I think that his influence heavily shows. This record actually kind of surprised me in the fact that I really dug it. I really liked this record. If you saw my Path of Totality review, you would realize I was kind of meh with that record, but this one actually surprised me. I really, really dug this thing. It borrows from the Path of Totality in the fact that there's electronics a lot more prominent on this thing, but there's also some really, really great grooves. And that kicks off the record, in fact, with the track Pray For Me, which has some really great interaction with the drum and the bass and some fantastic grooves with the guitars. And there's also some unsettling vibes in the bridge. This record really kicks off and kind of shows what you're going to get with the record. I mean, there's some great grooves on this track, Love and Meth, What We Do, Victimized, even Punishment Time, which all have some really great grooves, some unsettling vibes that kind of remind me of Follow the Leader, and some really grand-styled lyricism from Jonathan Davis. And I can't take it seriously, but I kind of enjoy the absurdness within these lyrics. I think that this thing does a really good job of presenting classic-styled Korn reborn, almost in a sense. Not like Take a Look, or not like Korn 3 did. It's not really reminiscent of the first 2 albums. It's more reminiscent of the mid-career of Korn, the Follow the Leader to Take a Look in the Mirror style. The grooves on this thing are more reminiscent of that, but they are fantastic. I mean, I love the way the guitars and electronics really weave within each other, almost feeling like Fear Factory, but a little bit better than the mid-career Fear Factory, which is very nu metal tinged. I love that it's kind of really unsettling, but very fresh. This is something that I didn't think I like from Korn anymore, because I'm going to be honest with you guys, I don't listen to Korn much anymore. I don't hate the band, I don't think that they're bad. I'm kind of become indifferent with their catalog. If I go back and listen to, you know, the first record, Follow the Leader, their big records, or even some of the offcuts, or even some of the cuts from the records that people are kind of met on, I'll still appreciate them, but I don't go back to them all that often. I just don't have a need to listen to this band. But I really dug this record. I mean, I think it starts off fantastically. I do think it kind of dips down a bit after the first few tracks. Spike in My Veins has a really weird guitar effect. I wasn't big on the sound in the chorus. I think that Jonathan starts to sound weird throughout the next couple of tracks that follow. But I think that this record, overall, is actually pretty damn good. The drums on this thing are fantastic, and I think that they kind of play really well with Fieldy's rumbling bass, more so than on the Path of Totality, which I feel like those were missing. It was nice to hear those again. These songs really know how to close themselves out, too, with some really, really intense moments, like on the closing track, It's All Wrong, which has the best representation of that. I feel like Punishment Time has a really good style of that as well. I dig the chorus. I dig the bridge, and I think that the bridges on this thing do a really good job of creating that unsettling atmosphere. Victimized is a track that really has that, but in the intro, the way that the synths are kind of rich, and I like the overdrive of the synths in that. Before the guitars kind of come in and bring in the style that you were expecting maybe after listening to the record. I think that this record has a lot of positives to it, but there are some negatives. Like I was saying before, Spike in My Veins is kind of a meh track. Mass Hysteria, while I think that the chorus has a pretty good job of presenting some grand imagery, I don't think that the elements put forth really mesh well together. There's some really Rob Zombie-styled influence in the guitars, and I don't think that matches the rest of the song. Paranoid and Aroused sounds weird. The chorus, at least, I don't like the way Jonathan sounds in the chorus. I think that, again, the instrumentation is good, but Jonathan kind of sounds weird. I don't like the track Never Never, the first single to drop from this thing, and I don't even think that that's a good image to paint for this record. I think that the electronic drums, which come back from an earlier track as well, they're in an earlier track that were kind of meh, I think paint a really weird image for this record that isn't a good representation of the positives of this record. I don't like the way Jonathan sounds in the verses. I think that it's cool that they're bare and kind of explode into a chorus, and I think it does a good job of presenting some good dynamics that are throughout the record, but I don't like the first single, Never Never. I don't like Punishment Time. I like the guitars, but I think that the chorus feels a bit out of place again, and there's a couple moments, like, just really weird that the choruses don't really match the rest of the song. I really don't like the track Lullaby for a Sadist. I think the acoustic guitar is poorly placed, and I think that with that and the weird droning electronics, it just doesn't mesh well together. I think that the verses are way too silly on that track. Like, for a Korn record that the lyrics I don't really pay attention to all that seriously anymore, I think that that's even too silly for them. I think that that track overall is the epitome of the weirdness, because after that, it gets back into a good groove again with Victimized, and the closer, It's All Wrong, and the bonus tracks also have some really, really, really good grooves, and even the last track is very dancey. Like, it's still Korn tinged, but it's very dancey. So I think that it starts well and it ends well, but it kind of gets a bit mixed up in the middle. Overall, I dug this thing. I think it was good. I think it was nice to hear Head in the band again. You could definitely tell that he had a huge influence on the way the record was crafted, because the guitars are a lot more prominent and the grooves are fantastic. I think him and Monkey really thicken up the sound really well guitar-wise, and it doesn't sound too muddy, and I like that about it. Really, my only complaints, aside from the ones that I had mentioned, the minor complaints that I have, are that Fieldy is there, but he gets kind of buried in the mix at times. I feel like his rumble is sorely missed at certain points. When the groove really sets in, I'd like to be able to hear the bass more instead of the electronics kind of weaving into that, kind of creating that Fear Factory style. While I like Fear Factory, and I think that that's cool that they kind of have that style to this record, I definitely feel like I miss the bass at points. And that Jonathan sounds weird at certain points as well. I definitely had a fun time listening to this, though. It was nice bringing me back to the Korn sound that I liked, that I was really fond of from the past, from the old days, from the 90s. And I think that it was cool. And if this is the style that they're going to be making from here on out, I'm excited for Korn now. I think that it borrows really well from its influences while changing them enough to sound fresh. My favorite track on the record is either It's All Wrong, because the groove on that is amazing and the guitar sounds so damn thick and awesome. Either that or the track Pray For Me, the opener. Either the opener or the closer, or What We Do, because that's also another track that has the Fear Factory vibe that I really dug. So one of those three, or all three, will be linked below. Hopefully you like my review of this record. I definitely am excited to hear what they have in store next, if it's going to sound like this. But I'm going to get out of here. I have been Viralrak. You guys have good days, lives, and situations. If you want to see part 1 of the discography review, it's linked in the end of the thingy along with the other parts. And you guys have good days, lives, and situations, and I'll see you another day.